So Chapter 9 is about rational expressions. We've simplified rational expressions and we multiplied rational expressions. The nice thing about dividing is that if we remember, dividing is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. And so all we're going to do is we're going to change our division into multiplying by the reciprocal, and then it's just going to look like what we learned in lesson 9.2. So let's take a look at this first example. This is a division. We're dividing by x plus 3 over x squared minus 7x plus 6. And so instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of that. So we can rewrite this as x squared plus x minus 6 over x minus 6. And instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. That means that x squared minus 7x plus 6 will be in the numerator, and the x plus 3 will be in the denominator. So now this looks like the type of problem we saw in our multiplying rational expressions lesson. So we're going to factor what we can. So this first numerator, this is going to factor into x plus 3 and x minus 2. The denominator is factored as much as it can be. And then this can be factored to an x minus 1 times an x minus 6 over x plus 3. We also know that dividing is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. Still the same idea, a little bit more work to do on the factoring end, but we know that we can have 6x squared plus 48x plus 96 all over 2x squared plus 8x minus 10. Instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And so we have 10x squared plus 80x plus 150 over 5x squared plus 10x minus 40. Looks like we can factor 6 out of the numerator here. So that would leave us with x squared plus 8x plus 16. Factoring a 2 out of the denominator. X squared plus 4x minus 5. On our next part, we can factor a 10 out. We have x squared plus 8x plus 15 over, factoring out a 5, x squared plus 2x minus 8. We can continue factoring. Still have our 6. This will factor to x plus 4 times x plus 4. The denominator, we have our 2, and then factoring that, we have an x plus 5 times x minus 1 times 10. Factoring here, we have x plus 3 times x plus 5, and then factoring that, we have an x plus 4 times an x minus 2. We can now look for common factors and simplify. See that this 2 goes into 6 3 times and 2 goes into 2 once. The other coefficients here, 5 goes into 5 10 2 times, and 5 goes into 5 once. Looking at the binomial factors, an x plus 4 cancels with an x plus 4. Looking across, x plus 5 cancels with x plus 5. And it looks like that's all we can do. So our answer ends up being, we have our 3 times 2 is 6. X plus 4 times x plus 3 over, we just had our 1 times 1, which is 1, and then x minus 1 times x minus 2. We were supposed to leave it in factored form, so that's our answer to that one. Coming to our next example here, this looks a little different because this is a compound fraction. But if we remember what a fraction is just the same as division. So we can still think division, because this right here means division. Division is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we can rewrite this as our numerator, which is 1 over x squared minus x minus 6. And instead of dividing, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal of this denominator, which would be x squared minus 9 over x plus 3. Now that we've done that, now we're just down to multiplication. We can factor. The denominator here factors to x minus 3 times x plus 2. This numerator, that's a difference of squares, so that's x plus 3 times x minus 3. And then the denominator is still just x plus 3. Once we have that factored, we can reduce. We have x plus 3 cancels with x plus 3, and then x minus 3 cancels over here. We're left with only a 1 in the numerator. In the denominator, we're left with x plus 2. And so that just simplifies to 1 over x plus 2. So again, just looking at this part right here, we can factor the numerators and denominators. We can rewrite division as multiplying by the reciprocal, and we can cancel common factors. As you noticed in the examples I did, these can be done in different order. I usually change to multiplying by the reciprocal and then factored. In fact, you can do both steps at the same time once you get better at them.